What is up, guys? My name is Krew. I'm 16 years old. I drive drift cars. This is how I got started and where I'm going next. So, kind of little backstory. I've just always loved cars and racing, any kinds of racing, like drifting, racing, rally, whatever, you name it.
Nice.
At the ripe age of 7 years old, I started racing junior karts, and honestly, I had great results with that, and I did it for about 2 years, but I could just feel it wasn't my thing in a way. And despite being really good at it, I don't know what it was. And at around 8 or 9 years old, I eventually stopped driving karts, which it was a really big shift in my life. I had felt like I had no direction in life, because it was true. I knew I always wanted to do something to do with motorsport, but at the time I just didn't know how that would be looking in the future. I had this cheap racing wheel that it got the job done for sure, and man, I played that thing for hours a day, every day. Feels like it. But one day I just must have gotten bored on there. I'm like, let's try a drift. And of course, tried a couple, sucked, and I found myself to be kind of decent at it. So I'm like, I got doing some research about drifting, and I thought to myself, wow, this is actually a real thing. This is awesome. So I did more research, of course, and a couple months later, I went out to a local drift event that was local to me, and I got a ride along, and I'm like, wow, I'm hooked. I need to do this. This is awesome. That was probably a really pivotal moment in this drifting career that I have going on, because without that, I don't know what it would look like today. By then, I was heavily convinced that this is what I want to do. This is what I'm choosing, and my parents saw that in me, and it's what I really felt I wanted to do. So we started looking for drift cars for sale, and we eventually found one that we like. The car had a Ford small block 302 in it. Very unique swap for a BMW E46, but the car worked well. It was amazing for the time it had the 302 in it, and I won a comp in it. It was just an awesome car, and to this day, the car still has a Ford small block motor in it, just not a 302. The car actually has a 351 Windsor, still a small block Ford, but this is the car 4 years later. It's my first car. I freaking love this thing so much. It is my baby. It is so awesome. I love this car so much. So fun to drive. Although I will lend you in on a little secret, this small block Ford motor is not staying in here much longer. That will be a future series. But yeah, this is how she stands right now. I'm a very competitive person, and the first little while I had this car, I've never really done any comps in it, mostly just driven it for fun, but as I progressed more as a driver, I really wanted to compete and see how far I could go in this car and just see what I'm made of, just see how that goes. Me and this car have done a lot of competition driving, like in Idaho and Apple Valley, California, and basically everywhere in between, but I got 4th place in my first ever time competing in this car, and that just turned the switch in me. Wow, I want to competitively drive. This is awesome. So, learned a whole lot from that competition. I got 4th in, which was in Idaho, Magic Valley, Idaho, and round 2 of that competition, we came back prepared, ready to absolutely win. And that event, I actually did take home 1st place, I was so over the moon about that, so excited. And that just really flipped a switch in me that competitive driving is what I'm doing. I did many competitions in this car, and while it was a really competitive car, and it still would be, it just needed a little more. We determined that while we could modify this current car, we wanted to leave it how it is so it's not unreliable, because sometimes when you make power, you kind of lose reliability. And this car had just always worked great the way it has. Super reliable, easy to get seat time in, and overall just a great car. That's when we decided competition drifting is what we're doing. So we went out and bought this BMW E46 M3. We bought this car as a competition car thinking, this is our Formula Drift Pro-Am car. This is what's gonna help me chase a Pro Spec license to compete in Formula Drift, which this last year we rebuilt the car and I learned a lot in it, and it was a great tool to me to learn and get a few wins under my belt. And overall, awesome year. Car's an absolute unit. I learned a lot as a driver and I really progressed, I feel like. There will be updates on the channel for when things like that happen, so please stay tuned for that. In this moment though, my car is going under the knife. We know some really amazing people in our circle that are willing to help us out and rebuild the car for next year to be as competitive as possible, so we can hopefully go shoot for that Pro Spec license to be driving in Formula Drift Pro Spec in the next year or two. We'll see how it works out, but I'm really excited with what's being done to the car. I really cannot wait for this next year of drifting. The car right now as it sits is like here. By the time we're done rebuilding it, it'll be like up here. That will conclude today's video though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, because this will not stay in this car much longer, and that will be documented on this very channel, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit all those buttons as usual, and until then, I love you guys and I'll see you later.